Join me as I become a Neopets fairy today. For this, I am working on the makeup and the overall look for a fairy from Neopets. I chose the Air Fairy Psellia. So I'll show some pictures on the screen if Neopets wasn't your thing, or if your memory is a little rusty because you can't remember the last time you logged on, and God knows if your pet is even alive at this point because you have forgotten to feed it. We're not going to go into that existential crisis today, but nonetheless, and I settled on Celia because I already had wings, I already had a solid base outfit, and I already had the right wig color to bring her to life. So I was able to, for the most part, just straight closet cosplay this. The only things that I actually bought for this outfit was the fabric to make her like neck piece thing and dye to take the dress that I already owned and make it a little bit more on theme with her colorations. So I started with brushing and braiding my hair in part to get it out of the way for the makeup application, but also to do those preliminary steps for putting the wig on later. Now I could go through some of the steps of my makeup routine, but really, in all reality, it's not that exciting, and I'm not like a makeup vlogger, product sharing picture person. So for the application of makeup, you'll see a pretty standard look as to how I do my makeup on a day-to-day basis in terms of types of products used, and the order in which I'd put them on. Really, the only exception to what I would do a little bit normally here is adding in the eyeshadow and lip colors that I do. If anyone knows me, you'll know that I'm not really a purple girl. So pulling those colors just means that those palettes that have been very untouched get some use, which is lovely. But they aren't a go-to in my typical day-to-day look, or even most of my typical costume looks. So I'll just show kind of the process of me applying and going through it. And something I will mention is that um, I've been doing makeup creatively for a very, very long time. And there are just some times where using your fingers is just more effective than a brush. And you don't need the perfect tools to create. I think this is just applicable for so many mediums as well, but just in general, you don't need the perfect tools to create. You just need some practice and learning what works for you. So you have probably already seen, depending on where I am in the voiceover right now, that I've applied like foundation and things with my fingers just because I find it more precise and it works better and I waste less product that way. I also I won't use like my pointer finger. I'll actually use like, usually I use my ring finger for the most part, and the purpose of doing that is because your index finger gets a lot of use. You actually have a lot of strength on that finger. So by using a finger that is a little less dominant, you tend to be a little softer, which especially in places like under your eyes, you want to be a little bit more delicate to that skin. So when I am using my fingers to apply, you'll notice that that's usually the choice that I go with. So the pictures today, I'm actually having my husband take some pictures for me, in part because it is super cold out and I could do a self-portrait with a tripod, but it just means there's going to be a lot more outside time as I try to nail down all of the parameters. So that, and my husband has been interested in learning more about photography so that he can support me in ways like this. So he will be taking my pictures today. And I will still be kind of directing him, right? So fortunately, I have enough experience in front of the camera that I know how to pose myself. He doesn't have to worry about that. I'm going to set up the camera ahead of time with what settings I think are going to be most appropriate, and do some tests that way before I even go outside. And then once we go outside, I will just have him do a couple test shots to make sure looks how it looks good, maybe make some minor adjustments and try to, explain them to him as I can. But besides that, he'll be doing the shooting. However, I will be doing the final edits to the pictures, and they're actually going to be part of this bigger collab post, which I'll talk about more in a little bit. Because I am editing the pictures, I thought it would be a great time as in general to talk about how I approach editing people's appearance. Because I am a photographer and I primarily deal with portraits, I am dealing with a lot of people's faces a lot of the time. And something that's really important to me is that I'm never changing your core appearance. I will change anything that is a non-permanent feature. For example, if you have a blemish, I will edit that out. You're not always going to have that blemish. It's not a core feature of what you look like. However, I will not be like removing fine lines. I will not be reshaping your face. I will not be smoothing it out. Even though I shoot primarily fantasy photography, I still believe in the subject of the photograph, whether or not you're supposed to be a fantastical creature, is an extension of you as a person. And it never feels right to me to adjust how somebody looks as a person. There is nothing wrong with face texture. There is nothing wrong with age lines. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. And just because societally we've decided that those portraits look quote unquote better or prettier doesn't mean that that's what we should be following. To me, I want to see real people doing things. That is much more aspirational to me than seeing these sort of idealized and fake bodies that we often see as these finalized editorial pictures that we see online from all of these huge brands. I want to see what people look like as people. So, unless I ever get a specific request to do something like that, and to be clear, it would have to be the right kind of request. And when I say the right request, I think it's going to be a case by case basis. I've never been fully requested this at this point, but if it ever comes up, maybe I'll share why I agreed to do it if somebody asked for it. But right now, I can't see myself editing anyone's appearance in any substantial way like that. So that will also be the case for me. I have some acne that I'm covering up a bit with the makeup, but I know that it will still show up in the final pictures. So I will be editing those out because that is, again, a non-permanent feature of something going on with me. So a very fun, not so fun fact is that I actually had a ban on wig glue since this past July. So I'm recording this video early in February because it's going to be part of a collaboration post that comes out on Instagram on Valentine's Day. I have not worn wig glue since July. I will share a link to the fan film that I was a part of, but we were filming that fan film in July for a week. And while it was a completely and truly delightful experience, I wore a wig every single day. And because it was a blonde wig, I had to make sure my wig glue game was on point because, as you can see, I have very dark hair, so it would be very, very obvious if it shone through. I had wig glue remover, but that stuff is, it's glue. It wants to stay on, and it sure did. And I would go washes and washes and washes and still be finding remnants of it, whether it was on my hairline, whether it was on the elf ears that I had to apply because it was just, again, a really good way to keep them on for the however many hours in a day that I had to keep the wig on, which was many. I had a ban on it for a while, so the fact that I'm using it in these pictures is a testament to my willpower, and I did break my ban for it, but I do think it was worth it in this case. So, speaking a little bit to the collaboration post, um, originally I was supposed to take pictures of this cosplay with a friend in December. It didn't work out. We were gonna have a little bit of a group, but that group, everyone couldn't get their looks together in time, which was fine. So the friend suggested that we pivot to a collaboration post and came up with the idea of Valentine's Day cards with your favorite Neopets fairies. So it also meant that we could open up the collaboration a little bit wider than when we were going to do the shoot in person, where we're really limited by people's schedules and by their proximity. So we're creating these cheesy little, think about the Valentines you would give in grade school to your friends, little frame things for that. I'm going to share some pictures of not only my own final pictures and my Valentine, but I'm going to share and shout out everyone else as well. Just finished taking pictures. And
I was included.
The boy helped a lot. He took the pictures.
So much.
He did.
Very helpful.
And recorded the footage of what I was doing outside.
Oh, cutie pie. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
Can't flap
them. Yeah, they're kind of rigid. Ooh, my butt's cold. Yay.
Very good job. So now to edit them and submit them, because this post goes up on Valentine's Day, so I need to do that soon. We're making like Valentine's cards with the Neopets Fairies. So there's a handful of us doing it. So it's a little collab post.
If I don't get one that says "Be my Valentine," I'll feel besmirched.
Okay.
Besmirched.
I don't want to besmirch you on your Valentiversary. Valentiversary. I think you've changed the order a couple times.
Valentiversary.
I feel like you said birth of anniversary like a bunch.
I always start at Valentine's Day first because that's the holiday.
I would argue that your birthday is a holiday, as well as our anniversary.
They're in chronological order. So Valentine's Day was first, then my birthday, then my anniversary.
I guess.
They're in chronological order.
Okay.
I organized them.
What are your thoughts, Bear?
Pickle.
Pickle. Run away with Pickle are her thoughts.
Scrumble.
I just said her thoughts. I'm gonna... Alright, I'm gonna go put this shit away. Okay, it is now time for the best part of this whole thing, which is taking this wig off. I used actual wig glue, which I swore to never use again after filming in Spain in July, so I have the remover if I need it. I'm hoping I can just yank it off without it, but I'm also expecting to be stuck in this wig. I actually didn't glue the ears in this time because I didn't want to suffer trying to get it off my ears. Can I yank you up? Ooh! Ooh. Okay, that's working.
I heard that.
It's okay. Who needs little baby hairs? Oh my god. No, it's just stuck on the... Well, the wig headband's doing its job because it was stuck on it. Okay. Take the silly little golem look off.
Can I get a... Precious. After I get...
Okay. This part shouldn't be the hardest part. Oh. That look more like mostly presentable now, yeah?
Aside from the glue line and the corpse lips, yeah.
Oh yeah, we do have a bit of a glue line.
Yeah.
Well, I should have a solution to that.
It's right there. It's on.
Yeah, well, I know it's right there. I just wanted the Q-tip. I didn't want to just pour
my mistake.
Bond remover all over my head. Because I wanted to keep the makeup on to film something else, minus the lip. I'm gonna take the purple off the lip because, as I've been told, I look kind of like a corpse.
Corpse-esque.
So
Corpse-like.
I would like to take that off because the character of Ash does not have purple lips. I'm not constantly oxygen deprived, as much as my words may seem.
Hydration deprived? Yes.
That's true. But I don't think you turn a different color from lack of hydration. I think you just get...
Yeah, you do.
I think you just get dry. Well, did you say a blonde hair? Oh yeah, look, I stole one.
Nothing says our house quite like a kitten, a spirit Halloween bag, and a water jug and chameleon watering can for the dehumidifier. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts are, I'm a Neopet fairy sometimes, and I hope you enjoyed my getting ready through ungetting ready video. And if I'll probably have the final pictures done before this comes out, so I will pop a couple of those into the video around this point here. these are the final pictures. I really love how they came out. I did a little bit of editing to highlight some of the colors a little bit stronger, and I removed a little bit of the like brush debris in the background just so that it could be a little bit more on focus of me as the subject. And of course, I cut out the snow boots that I was wearing, so everything is above those and up. But I'm really pleased with how they turned out. And while again, purple's not really my thing, I really love how this looked, and I'm really glad that I got to shoot it. And I do hope to do another shoot with it in the spring or summer where I can be outside in luscious nature. And I will also share a link to the collab post that a couple of us are making, because there are other folks who are being other Neopet fairies that we're making cute little Valentine's cards for. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.